I'm Mal, your gal pal, and this is Those Are the Girls 2020. Welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends, the podcast where we explore life, career, relationships, and pop culture through a Christian conservative perspective. Each episode, we dive into deep topics that matter most to us women, from navigating your career with grace and confidence to watering meaningful relationships grounded in faith. We're here to empower you to embrace your femininity and stand firm in your beliefs. We'll also tackle the latest in pop culture, discussing how they align or clash with our values. Let's uncover the truth and encourage each other to live boldly and authentically. So whether you're at home or on your commute, get ready for some fabulous conversations. Grab your teacup, pour yourself some tea. Come on, girlies, we're changing culture. The views expressed on this podcast are our own and do not reflect our employers. Enjoy. 25 wrap. Okay, welcome to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mal, your gal pal, and this is wrap. I was gonna say the last season or last episode of 2025, but I have a New Year's Eve episode planned, or a New Year's episode planned, and I feel like I should do it before New Year's because I have some things in it that I want to talk about so that your New Year is good. And like if you're like me, like New Year's Day is like when things start. Like I am definitely like a Monday starter, beginning of the month starter, beginning of the year starter, beginning my birthday starter. Like I'm just one of those people that like needs that concrete like date. So this might be the last episode of the year. It also might be the second to last episode of the year, but it's absolutely the 2025 wrapped episode of the year. So I want to do this more, but I haven't in the past. I want to do this more of like kind of like a year end, what happened this year, podcast wise, girly pop wise, what have I learned? And then if I happen to have a guest, they would share theirs as well. But today is just a solo Mal episode. So yeah, I am really excited. I'm going to go over, so essentially, I'm going to go over movies and books that I also liked this year, go over like what, the Spotify Wrapped statistics. I haven't gone over those yet. And what's so funny is like, I showed them on Instagram, but I don't think like my Instagram followers are necessarily the podcast listeners. And I don't think the podcast listeners are necessarily the Instagram followers because I'll say and ask stuff. And the podcast listeners, like it'll just be like a different response, I guess. So yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited about this episode to wrap it up. This is like the wrapped of 2025 for Those Are the Girls. What else? I'm talking about some of the things I learned, the best moments of the year, and then just some closing advice and remarks, and just kind of like letting you know about what is to come in the new year. So really cool things happening in the new year, and kind of like with the rebrand. So this was the year, I guess let's just get into it. So let's just kind of talk big picture with Those Are the Girls. Like this was the year of the rebrand. I love it. The colors are just a lot more me, a lot more like what I want to do with the podcast. And like the focus is a little bit more clear. I think that when Those Are the Girls first started, OG listeners, I had a co-host and we had the same, like loved her, miss her so much, had the same vibes. Everything was really good. And we came up with the colors and the name, the together. Well, I actually came up with the name, but we came up with the colors. Her husband did the mixing for the theme song. And it was just all this stuff. It was very, it was great. And I think over the years, like now I am 31. When I started the podcast, I was 25. That's so crazy. So I started the podcast at 25. Now I'm 31. And I just feel like things have like grown. Like we have not exponentially, but like it has grown slow but steady. And I have matured a lot in the sense of like what I found super important and things that needed to be discussed in 2020 are a little different than what I feel should be discussed in, going in 2026. And like as I've gotten older, I think listeners have gotten older. And I want us to grow together. And like I want like our priorities to be a little different in the sense of like what, like even in my own life, like what I'm focusing on. Something that I think as I've gotten older and more mature and like just realize things in life, something that I really, really want to focus on, which is going to be the the 3 prongs of next year of like what the episodes will be kind of centered around. What I just want myself to grow in, what I want you to grow in is your calling. I think that your calling, our callings are so important. It is what we're here on earth for. And I think that sometimes things get like mixed up, messed up when you are listening to everyone else around you in this world. And like, I just think that, our callings are just really important for us to figure out what they are and to make sure that we're walking in them and then to be good stewards of them. Morgan in episode 3 something, part of the Other Growth and Cubicles series, which I do want to return to eventually, and I want to do something more with that. But Morgan talked a little bit about how when she was younger, she read that everything you're supposed to do unto the Lord, do your best essentially and everything. And I think that sometimes we forget, I know I forget that sometimes when I'm like in a situation that I don't really want to be in and like, I'm having to force myself to be there and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not going to put forth an effort. But the reality is like, we should be putting forth the effort. We should be doing our best to be like what God has called us to be. And then community. I think community is so important. If you follow me on my personal page, I take my friendships very seriously and I like spending time with my friends. And like, I think it's just so important. And having like-minded community is something that I think is really needed. And I want to do some more in-person events, some more things like we can do as like other girls. Like, I think it's great. Like, we all have our friends and it's important to have friends with different beliefs, I think. And, I'm going to do an episode, maybe even a series on friendship, because I think it's just something that, especially those of you younger, really, really can struggle with is like friendship, like boundaries and stuff. So I do think as Christians, our inner circle, like the people that we're super close to, should be Christian. I'm sorry, I think they should. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything wrong with having non-Christian friends. And I mean, and the reality is, I feel like it's harder. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. I'll go into depth more later. So anyway, and then cultivating femininity. Like, I still think about the episode I had where we talked about classical femininity, and I can't stop thinking about it. Like, it was such a great episode, and it was just like, it really inspired me. Let me look up the episode. Oh, sorry. Let me look at the episode number really quick. And I'll talk more about that episode in a little bit, but like, it just really inspired me. And that's something that I really want us to be working on in this new year. I think it's really important for us to it's episode, wow, I looked at it 337, but I'll talk about it later. And I think it's just really important, something for us to really think about in the new year, and like improving our vocabulary, not just like, feminine, like how often you're going to wear lipstick. What about wearing makeup? I don't just mean that, even though that is something I do want to do in the new year's. I really do want to be consistent with makeup wearing. Like, I'm just not. Anyway, I just want us to also be able, the words that we use, like, are we kind? And I think I talked a little bit about First Timothy, like what is it that it was, I can't remember the exact like verse or whatever, but essentially when we broke it down, it was like, what are the character traits of a woman, of a godly woman? And some of them were just kind of like hospitality, things like that. And like, obviously, actually, you know what? I'm not going to bean soup this. If you, for whatever reason, you can't host people, or for whatever reason, you can't be kind to people, that's on you. I'm not bean souping it. I'm just telling you like what some of the things are. So yeah. So, and if it don't fit, what's the saying? If it don't apply, let it fly. All right. Okay. So that is something that like, those are the 3 pillars. So your calling, community, and cultivating femininity for the next year. And I'm just super excited to like have the different guests that will be talking about that, the different things and the different activities. I have an activity. I guess I can share it now. I am going to do a tea party this year. It's for sure going to do it. Very small. And it'll be March 28th. I'm just like working on the timing and everything, but also sponsor. So if you want to sponsor, if you'd like to sponsor somehow, please let me know. It's going to be very small, limited numbers, just because of how everything goes, but super excited. It'll be in Monroe, North Carolina, which is right outside of Charlotte, at A Cause for Tea, which is like the cutest tea house you've ever been. You're going to want to come. And if you don't live near here and you do actually want to come, if you're like, you know what, I want to make this trip, I want to do this, I will like let me know, and maybe we can like do other things. So you're not just coming. I mean, I think it's worth it just to come for that event, but like there's other things you can do, and we can maybe like come together and like figure it out. But anyway, so that's like the goal. But like I want to do just different things in the new year and like just making sure that we're using our time, energy, gifts. I just don't want to, I think also too, I don't want to waste life. I don't want to waste my life. I don't want anyone listening to waste your life. I want us to be productive. I want us to be fruitful. I want us to make sure we're doing what we are called to do. And honestly, a huge part of this too is going to be like singleness. I'm in my single, I would say my single era, but it's not even like an era. It's just like who I am. I'm a single. And I know some of you guys listening are too. And I just want to make sure that we're not like, I think just seeing on social media and like some friends in real life, they really do kind of just sit around twiddling their thumbs, talking about how sad they are that they're single. And I don't want to be like that. I personally, like, I just want to, like, obviously, I've said it before, I'll say it again. And everyone listen, I'm sure we all thought we were going to be married by now, and we're not. So that's the reality. For whatever reason, we have to all look at within ourselves and figure out why it is what it is. But you need to make the most of it. Like it's just always sad when people kind of just like sit around twiddling their thumbs about how sad they are and about how they wish that this was it. And I just think that we can be more productive, making more with our time. Those are just my thoughts. Okay. So it's going to be a good year. All right. So let's go into some of my favorites of the year. All right. Favorite movies. I don't even think I did an oops spoilers on any of these. Maybe I will next year. Oh yeah, oops spoilers. We got something cool coming for you. Okay. Movies. Top three movies this year for me were K-pop Demon Hunters, Sinners, and Superman. Sorry, everybody. Ooh, sorry about that. Let's talk about those really quick. So, K-pop Demon Hunters, I know that the name sounds awful. I know if you are one of those like really cool girls, you're like, no, I'm not gonna watch that. Guys, when I life changing, it is such a good movie. I loved it. I mean, I sobbed. I can like not hear one of the songs without crying. It is such a good movie. Great message. Essentially, the message is like sometimes we have, not sometimes, there is an enemy out there. This is also how it's like low-key Christian. There is an enemy out there in your head telling you these things. You have to like defeat it. Like you cannot continue to live with these thoughts that these things are in the back of your head. One might say you might need to take captive every imagination and rebuke it. Some might say that. So yeah, Sinners. Oh my God. From the cinematography, from the music, it was such good movie. I know that that's another controversial one. And I was going to do no spoilers about it. I completely forgot why I didn't. I think I told someone I was, but I wasn't doing spoilers about it. I didn't, and I should. I really should, especially now that time has passed. It's just sometimes people I didn't want to because it's really a good movie. Like if you actually sit down and like watch it and like from a someone who enjoys film, just in general, like I love movies. I love going to the movies, not just being entertained, but also being educated and just like watching, the way, like there was this part where like they were stomping out someone and then the camera switched to a girl like stomping, singing. Like it was just like, I still think about that. Like it was just such a good, smooth transition. And then just like the way music can take you places and can draw. It was so good, you guys. So good. And the last one was Superman. I thought Superman was great. I cried in Sinners. I also cried in Superman. So at the, I don't want to. It was just so good. And like I'll say this, if you don't want to hear about the end. At the end, actually, I won't spoil it. At the end, there's this montage that like, oh my God, like I was like, oh wow, I'm crying in a superhero movie. It endeared me. I love it. Like more of this Superman. I love this version of Superman so much. What's her name as Lois, a boss, loved it. Oh, thought it was so great. These were like such great movies this year. I really like y'all see these movies if you haven't. All right, books. This was tough because I'm in a book club now. And this year so far, I haven't added my devotional, or there's two books I'm trying to finish by the end of the year, which is crazy because that's like a week. But they're both pretty short. They're like 8 hours each. Let me look it up. So this does not include those books. So far this year, your girl has read, one moment, un momento por favor. I have read, okay, why is it not showing me? I've read 17 books this year. Yeah, that's right, not including the other two. My goal was 10. I've read 17. So yeah, so this list was very hard for me to make because I've read some really good books this year, but here we go. So the first one, I'm going to say, not even really in a particular order, because so the first one is the Cruel Prince series. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. The whole series, all right? I just finished the book 3.5. Oh my god, so good. I haven't read The Lost Sister, which is book 1.5, but I've read 1, 2, 3, and 3.5. But I mean, the way that 1, 2, 3, and 3.5 are, I'm sure 1.5 is excellent too. Like, sorry, I'm sure it's great. Okay, so, or is it 2? Anyway, I've read, so in this, I'll say 1, 2, 3, and 3.5. The Cruel Prince series. Y'all, so someone suggested it in my book club. And personally, I really try not to read like smut. Like, I really don't want to do sex scenes. There is an Instagram account that I follow that will like tell you there's open door sex scenes in this part, and then like you can skip over them. I 9 times out of 10 reference that. So I really don't like to read. I don't want to get that in my head. You know, if that's what you want to read, that's between you and God and your husband, whatever. But like personally, I don't want to. So, and I'm kind of like trying to like really stick with that. But it is hard because like 99.9% of women, that is what they want to read. So sometimes in the book club, I'll have to like skim through a book. I actually had to put down, like I couldn't do it. Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife. I was shocked. I mean, it was just like, whoa. I mean, from the moment the book, like in the first chapter, it talks about how she can't sit in the carriage. Like it was just like, whoa, okay, this is too much. So this is just my personal opinion, you know, my opinions, whatever. Don't bean suit me. Okay. So when someone suggested The Cruel Prince, I'm like, oh, I saw that on Book Talk, romanticy, like, I'm looking like, oh god, this is gonna be so. From the moment I opened this book, I was hooked. I was hooked. It's not romanticy. It's like a political book with romance in it. And like the more I think about the romance in it, I'm just like, and so some of my friends read it before me, and I was like, how? And my friend was like, oh, I love Carden. And I'm like, how can you like? He's evil. He's awful. Carden's the word. And now I'm like, oh my god, Carden, this sweet baby boy. I hope he's okay. Jude, take care of him. He just needs to be loved. It's so crazy, like how your emotions like go through it, and it's just. When I tell you, I was hooked. I was like, I love this series. It is honestly, this is a good series for high schoolers to an extent. Obviously, not like the maturity level for high school. Like I would let my 17, 18-year-old, maybe 16-year-old read it. There is, so I will say, so as someone who writes fantasy, I you know, as a Christian, someone who writes fantasy, personally, I do want to stick with the heterosexual relationships. There is technically a lesbian relationship, but it doesn't feel, because like she's half fairy. I don't really know how to describe it, but there is that. So like, you know, if that's something that you care about in reading, just be aware of that. But otherwise, oh my god, such a good book. And I mean, like and gosh, the way Holly Black has set up this world is fantastic. It like makes you like, I mean, she pulls you right in, and the magic system. So when you're writing and they, you know, you do your research, like they always tell you like create the world first. So then you know like X, Y, and Z. Like if in your world, for example, in the book, fairies can't lie. So then that means, so it's good to create that at the beginning so that you know that your characters, especially because it's very character driven, so that you know that your characters are not going to be able to lie. So then they make decisions or they say things or do X, Y, and Z because they cannot lie. That type of thing. So she does such a fantastic job. Like I cannot stress enough. Like Holly Black, like you like anything you write, I'm there. I'm there. I actually have a couple on my list that aren't in the series, which is like, make more of this. But I do think, I truly think some things need to stop. Like, end it, cut it out. But I would love to read more from this world. Like, I think that she has set up, like, I would read 50 million books from this, about Elfame, from different people's perspectives, different, you know, have people, I just, Holly Black, love her, love her, love her. So the Cruel Prince series, highly recommend. Sunrise on the Reaping. We all know Hunger Games. Remember, Hunger Games was my first midnight premiere movie. I remember going to a midnight premiere, leaving the house, and all the hubbub. We were there. It was exciting. We got there kind of early because this was before you had to like book your seats. You had to get there early. It was exciting. I remember reading the books and being like hooked. I mean, I remember when 3 came out. Like that's when I got into it. By the time when I think as actually I think I read it first and then I read 2 right when it came out and then I had to wait for 3. I remember that. And I mean, your girl was hooked, loved it. My whole family actually really likes it. Surprisingly, my dad loves the series. He likes the uh world of it, right? So Sunrise on the so I did not read Songbird, that one, because I just kind of like it's a money grab. Like, oh, she's bringing, reheating the nachos, as the kids say. She's doing this again. But then my family, so for Thanksgiving and Christmas, we always watch a movie. So our movie, I guess it was a year ago, 2 years at this point, for Christmas, my brother was like, oh, let's just see the Hunger Games one. And I was like, guys, I don't know if I want to. So good. Oh my goodness. Excellent. And, Rachel Zegler, for all her flaws, I'm sorry, homegirl can sing and she can act. That accent took me out a little bit. But once I got over the accent, she can sing and she can act. There's a lot of things you can say about her, but one thing you cannot say is homegirl is not talented. She is talented. So when Sunrise on the Reaping came out, I'm like, okay, I want to read it before I go see the movie. So finally, after weeks in Libby jail, not Libby jail, but like, it's forever sometimes to get books, especially popular books through Libby. For weeks after waiting for it to get here, it is the only 5 I have on my Goodreads. The only 5. I cannot complain. Like, I cannot think of anything negative about the book. I'm trying to think. Cannot think of anything negative. Like, the only word I can think of is devastating. This, I don't know how they're going to do some of the scenes in cinema. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it. It was so devastating. And it was so well written. It was so good. I mean, I just could not put it down. Could not. I think I, like, listened to it in, like, 2, maybe 3 days. Like, it was just so good. Like, I cannot express how good it was. It's Haymitch's story, which also something to me, like, I don't care about Haymitch. Like, loser. Now I'm like, oh my God, Haymitch, you've been through so much. You're bred. Like, oh my God, like, no wonder he's a drunk type of thing. The movie's gonna be great. I cannot wait. It's another family movie we're gonna have to go see. Like, yeah, you guys, so good. All right, last top book was the last book we read for my book club in November. Codename Helene. Oh my goodness, such a good book. I don't normally like, honestly, I don't normally like historical fiction. I just don't like war. Oh my goodness, so good. I was locked in. Not immediately. There was a very cringe line at the beginning, but like by the end, I'm like, that's right, we do. Like, yeah, huzzah. Like, sorry, hit the mic. That's how I felt. Like, oh my goodness, the book is so good. It was so inspirational. It makes you like, honestly, I'm still thinking about it. I finished the book weeks ago, it feels like. But I'm still thinking about some things like like as a person, as a human, like I do want to be a hero in the sense of like I do want to do the right thing when the time comes. When the time comes, I do want to I do want to be the person who does the right thing. I do want to stand up and like how hard it actually is. Like, especially as Christians, like we are very big on like, yeah, we're being persecuted. And I'm not gonna say we're not, but like, no one's pulling us out of our homes for being a Christian. And it's not about Christian persecution. I'm just saying, like, that's how I'm a Christian, so that's how I relate to it. Or that's like what I'm thinking of, like in modern day. Because I'm just thinking of like a lot of things, no matter what you say, a lot of things like we have systems in place that they can't really happen. So, I'll just leave it at that. But like I'm just trying to think of like what anyway, trying to relate it. So, I just really I hope that I am, when the time comes, I can stand up, I can speak up, and I will be able to lay my life down for someone. Like, I hope that if the time ever comes, I am able to sacrifice myself for someone that needs it. Gosh, such a good book. I mean, And then she's a woman, and you love a girl boss. Sorry, excuse me, love a girl boss. Like reading about him, love reading about him. Oh, and the love story of this, like the way her husband loved her. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Like the way her husband loved her and cared about. Oh, so good. Such good quotes in the book. If you have me on Goodreads, I highlighted the ones that I thought were really good. Guys, it's such a good book. I highly recommend. And I'm going to do an oops spoiler on that as well. That oops spoilers will come out next year. All right. Okay, so let's do my top 3 favorite podcast episodes. Episode 303, The Color Analysis with Elizabeth. I love that. As you guys know, for example, lipstick here, part of the color analysis, like that's how I pick the color. And my nail, you can't really see my nails, same thing. I took that seriously. She told me what my colors were, and she was right. Took that seriously. I really think everyone should get a color analysis. I truly do. And there was a lot of things that we talked about in that episode that I just thought were so, so fascinating. The other one, actually, like pretty much every interview I had this year, before I finish, pretty much every interview I had this year were just like really, really, really good. I am very proud of the guests that I got. I'm thinking of some other ones that like I kind of wish I had added to the list. I'm just doing 3. I kind of wish I had said, but like this year, really, really good guests. It was not as many episodes just because of life. And like I said, I'm like truly doing this alone. So sometimes, yeah. I need help if you're interested. But this year, I feel like it was very, very strong guests. So the second one's Classical Femininity. Now, this is the episode I probably think about once a week. Like, I think this episode, maybe more than once a week, like 3 or 4 times a week. I think of this episode very often because some of the things that Hannah was saying, I really do want to embody. We talked about classical femininity, and we talked about a lot about like how as women, how we are perceived in the world and how we carry ourselves. And I think about that so much. And I really like this year, 2026, like on my goals and stuff, like I'll show you guys how to do some of the goals in the next episode. My goals and stuff, like it is centered around this because I just think it's so, to me, like that is just so, like I care a lot about that. Like I really, really, really want to embody that. Like, for example, now I have a flip phone, I have a digital camera, and for Christmas I got a DVD player. I also have a record player. There's, to me, like I want to, for example, like I need to get off my phone as much. I want to be more educated. I also I'm gonna be intentional and read 3 classic books that will help me with my vocabulary as well as help me like understand the world better and like knowledge and things like that. So I just that's also why I got a digital camera too, and like that's why I got the DVD player, because also physical media. I'll talk about that another time. But like physical media, guys, hey, my friends thought I was being silly. Physical media is the future. You're gonna want to start buying DVDs if you don't already. And then what else? Yeah. So, and then episode 340 with Macy about female entrepreneurship. I think about that episode a lot. Now that I think about it, part of it is because of like our conversation we had before, Macy and I had offline about like life and about like being an entrepreneur, and like as a Christian and a conservative, like as a Christian conservative woman, a lot of things mainstream Christian conservative are like get married, have babies. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely support that. But like the reality is not everybody has that option. What do we do? Like, do we sit at home twiddling waiting for our husbands? No. Let's be impactful. Let's like do stuff, which is another theme that I want to have strewn throughout next year is like, go do stuff. You don't have to sit around twiddling your thumb hoping for your husband. Like, where is my husband? Like that song is so cringe to me, even though I do like her voice, as well as I like the way, like the music behind it. But the song is just so cringe. Like, go out. And once again, like I am not against that. Like I wish that I got married young and had kids young. That actually was like my goal in life. Like that was what I wanted. Okay, that's not where I'm at. So like let's move forward. Like let's do something. Like let's be impactful. Let's change the world. Those are my thoughts. Love that episode. Okay. Oh, let's do some Spotify Wrapped. Here's just some funny, interesting. I'm just gonna go over the show. Those are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. It was in the top 15% of videos on Spotify. Really cool. Total audience went up 86%. Total new audience went up 999%, and followers went up 6%, which is pretty cool. The number one episode was actually Scams in Digital Age about the Megan Stoner story. Still crazy. Megan Stoner. The episode that had the most comments was the intersection of pro-life values and fertility awareness. Shout out Open to Life by Melanie Salazar. Melanie Salazar Sharp. That is actually one of another podcast that is part of the Other Girls Media network. And I'll be doing more of that. The Other Girls Media Network. You're going to be excited about that. I want to have, ideally, like, behind my heart behind that, it's just like encouraging other girls who want to have a show, like, why not? And having like a variety, and it being kind of like your trusted go-to girly pop Christian conservative network that is going to, have good premium content, I guess. So top countries: United States, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Australia, and Canada. Not complaining, but Netherlands, random. I'm wondering if it's someone who uses a VPN. I don't know. That's my thoughts. But Netherlands, okay, I guess. I was 79 people's top 10 show. So thank you. Thanks for listening. Seriously, those of you who listen, like, I truly appreciate it. My fan's favorite artist was Taylor Swift. No surprise there. The number one top audiobook was Hannah's Children. I don't know anything about that. I'm going to have to read that. I need to add that. I think I already added it to my Goodreads. I need to add it if I haven't. What is Hannah's Children? What are you guys reading? Fans listen to me for longer than 86% of other shows, so that's cool. I receive more comments than 95% of other shows. Pretty cool. I receive more shares than 92% of other shows. Even cooler. So it's just really cool. I'm very proud of myself, not to like brag, but once again, this is a podcast that I do pretty much by myself, but I do want other people. I am by myself because, it's hard to find good assistants, help, like people who want to do it and do it for free, for right now at least. So yeah, so that was really cool. What are some things that I learned this year? So this year has been such a very interesting year for me because socially, one of my best years. Well, let me tell you, very happy, very content socially. Like, I love my friends. Guys, 29, my 31st birthday. I was just not feeling it. I was just like, guys, you know what? Let's not do anything. Like, I'm not interested in doing anything. And then I get added to this group chat. And one of my friends was like, okay, well, we're not going to not do anything. Like, let's at least get dinner. Like, let's do something. Like, we can't not do anything. I'm like, guys, I don't know. And then nobody responded to me saying, I don't know. So I was like, okay, whatever. Fine, I'll go out. And then the day of my birthday, I was feeling a lot better. Like, I made some money selling my jewelry. And then, I don't know, I was just feeling better. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just throw on a cute dress and like some jewelry and let's just, whatever, we'll go out. So I get to my friend's house and I touch the door and it's unlocked, the lights are off. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope everything's okay. They left the door unlocked, I'm like, da da da. And then I open, I'm like, hello? Guys, they had thrown me a surprise birthday party. Princess Diaries thing. And if you know me, I love Princess Diaries. It was pretty pink. Everybody had on matching pajamas. It was like, I could cry, like, just thinking about it. Like, I just felt so blessed that my friends did that. Oh, it was just so sweet. And like, it was so me. Like, everything that everybody did was just so me. And I just feel so, 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 so blessed. Like, it truly, like, wow. In that regard, like, I feel very blessed. But there are some other things in my personal life that, like, I just, disappointed in. And a lot of things just really went wrong this year for me. And, it's one of those things where it's like, as a Christian, we go through suffering, disappointment, and it really does matter, like, how do we, like, handle it? And, like, it is hard. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like that it's not hard, and, like, some of the things that we go through is not hard. But I do think it just gets us in the mindset of, like, okay, how do we move forward? Because I think that's my other thing, too. I'm very big on, like, this really, really sucks. Like, I need to move forward. I need to get out of this. I need to be out of this. What do I, like... What does your girl need to do? That's really my mindset of like 99.9% of things. So this year, I just really learned about like these type of things bringing you closer to God. I will do a series on this. I started going to a PCA church, which is very, very different. I cannot express to you how different it is than like the churches I grew up in. Yeah, I cannot express to you how different it is. And I think that like having a more focus on scripture and more focus on like God and like who he is, and a little bit less on like, some of the other things that other churches focus on. I'm going to do a series on this, don't worry. I think that has just really, really helped me. I mean, just seeing, like, thinking about, like, this time last year, and, like, now spiritually, I just feel like I have grown so much and, like, my head is on, like, a little bit straighter and, like, I am not as, a lot has grown in that. And thinking really about, like, the quick sermon that we had on church for Christmas Eve, about, like, realizing that Jesus is enough in the sense that, like, him coming down to take our place is enough. Like that's it. There doesn't need to be anything more. And like because of that, like we have eternal life and like I think just coming to that realization and conclusion and then like yeah, it's been good for me. Like it's really grown for me personally. And like I said, I will do an episode on like going from PCA going from like honestly charismatic, word of faith, all that stuff to PCA, the transition, the mindset behind it. Actually, also too, I'm gonna be doing video essays in the upcoming year, and I'm doing one on. I guess I can just share it. I'm doing the first one I'm going to be doing is about deconstructing. Very interesting, fascinating, honestly. Like it's so many people. So when you grow up Christian, and when you go to Christian school, everyone around you is Christian. Seeing where everyone is now as we're adults in our 30s is fascinating. I have thoughts and opinions on how people got where they are, but it's incredibly fascinating. So I did want to do like I have some thoughts as someone who was talking to a friend of mine who grew up exactly the same way as me, and I said technically we both deconstructed because we're not in the same type of like religious structure, for lack of a better word, religious system that we grew up in. So technically we both deconstructed. We both thankfully deconstructed into as Lissa Childers, who love her story, love her podcast. As Alicia Childers says, historic Christianity, we have both more deconstructed in that realm, but not everybody has. So anyway, I'm going to talk more about that in the new year. Don't you worry. Okay. Let's see here. And, so let's talk about some 3 things really quick and 4 things in the new year. Number 1, like I said, the theme is calling, community, and cultivating biblical womanhood / femininity. I think it's a femininity, I mean, but I think I want to do biblical womanhood. Super excited. And in that vein, for the month of January, we're going to be reading Eve in Exile. By we, I mean me. And I'd love for you to join. And then hopefully do an oops spoilers about it or talk about it on the podcast. But I asked a Facebooker from in, what is a good book to talk about like biblical womanhood, biblical femininity? Because that's what I want to improve in. I want to make sure that I am living a life that is biblical. And I'm also, with my womanhood and my femininity. So even exile was what they suggested. So doing that, as well as going to be reading Proverbs, a proverb a day. So we're going to do one of those 31 days Proverbs challenges starting January 1st. So I will also have journal prompts for you guys and reflections. It'll be available on the blog, on the website. Just like journal prompts and reflections that you can like copy and paste or like refer to every day. Those like write your journal, whatever. But we're reading a proverb a day, just kind of like to start the new year off right. As like a community. And then lastly, like I said, I'm going to be doing activity, community things. So I am going to March for Life this year. Finally, back again. And I would love to meet any of you if you're going. I'd love to see you, catch up. If we've met before, meet if we haven't. I'd love to do that. And March 28th, ideally, I'm going to put it on the website. When everything's confirmed, I'll have the tickets available. It'll be all-inclusive tickets. You pay the ticket fee, and then you'll get your sandwich, your tea, blah, blah, blah. I am looking for sponsors, so really need some sponsors. That will be March 28th. yeah, that is like the upcoming year. I'm really excited. I think that this year was year 5 of Those Are the Girls, and it did not start off like it did start off well. Like, I wouldn't say it did not start off well. In the middle was a little rocky, a little rocky. 2026, I just have a lot of faith as well as action behind my faith that it'll be a much better year for Those Are the Girls, and we're just gonna like it's going to be good. So I'm really excited, and thank you for everyone who's listened this year. This is Those Are the Girls Wrapped. Thank you so much for listening this year and being part of the community, for your comments, for your sharing, for the conversations that we've had. I look forward to more of that in the new year. And if you haven't already, if you like the direction the podcast is going in and you haven't already, please go ahead and share this with all of your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Spotify, if you're listening on Apple or Google or Audible or wherever it's available wherever you listen to podcasts. But if you just like share this and like gather more people, I really do like, obviously I want more listeners because like that's the nature of doing something like this, is like you want more. But also I just really want people to feel like less alone. That's like the biggest goal of the podcast when it first started was just like so you don't feel like you're always like the odd one out. Like even when it comes to, in the conservative movement about like not being married in your 30s. Like it does feel, I'm sorry, it feels lonely. It does. And I just want you to know that like you're not alone, and like to hear some thoughts, opinions, and like some podcasts that's encouraging slash showing you other alternatives to like being sad about it. Because that's something too, like, you know, the big podcast girlies that are they're never really giving alternatives to like if you aren't. But I want this podcast to be like that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. Thanks to everyone who was a guest. Thanks to everyone who interacted. Thanks to everyone who messaged me. Thanks to everyone who emailed me. Thank you just for being a listener. I hope you have a good day, night, evening, however, wherever you're listening. Bye.